Welcome to an experience similar to ones that you've had before. Yes, another podcast featuring a couple of guys who think that they're funny. Two men, one microphone. This is Spoiled Rotten.
Yes, it is Wheel of Horror Night.
Yes, it is. Let me tell you what. I know I already posted it on Facebook. I liked this movie so much that after paying to rent this movie, I purchased this movie.
It's
on
not on.
Blu-ray.
It's not on Netflix.
Full price.
Hold on.
Paid for this movie.
Hold on. It's not on Netflix.
I don't know.
I would have just told, like, if that happened to me and it wasn't on Netflix already, I would have been like, yeah, spin again.
I feel no regrets. No regrets about it.
Wow.
I love this movie.
Really?
This movie is my spirit animal. It's my spirit dinosaur.
Huh.
My spirit Velocipastor. Anyways, how you doing, man? How's your week?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good, brother. We didn't do our regular podcast last night.
No, we had to push back Harry Potter a week, but
I feel like I got those podcast juices like just oozing out of me right now.
Yeah. So 6 days from tonight, we're gonna be covering Harry Potter and the Chamber of Snakes, or secrets. But it's basically one big snake.
Chamber of Snakerates.
Yeah, snakerates. So yeah, that's really exciting. I'm really excited about this. Like, you have hyped up this Velocipastor a lot more than I thought you would.
Yeah.
I think it went to the right person.
I as well. I think
I don't know if I would enjoy it as much.
I'm gonna say this is one of those weird circumstances where we're broadcasting this live.
Yeah.
A good bulk of our listeners are gonna be like right now. And I almost want to tell them to not listen and go watch the movie and then come back and enjoy this with us. It's really good. It's only like an hour and 10 minutes long. Like, it's super short.
Really? Not even a full like runtime. Okay.
No, it's like a little independent film, and it is so
terrible.
Absolutely hilarious. It's terrible, but it knows
in all the good ways.
Like, it knows that it's so meta and self-aware of how bad it is throughout the entirety of this movie that it's so good. It's so good. It's a lot like a movie I could compare it to, not funny wise, but like style wise. Is like, you remember when we talked about Kung Pao, and it was like it was like snippets of foreign films that they put together, and then they did voiceovers over to make a comedy out of it. It's like it's self-aware of that it's making jokes and that it's being funny the whole time. This is not a horror movie. I will not call this a horror movie by any stretch of definition. No, not at all.
It's not a horror movie. So
I want to say how happy I am that I got the opportunity to watch this movie, though, because it is a blast. But are we doing movie news or anything tonight? Or are we just hopping into it?
I don't have any movie news. The only birthday that I saw was Carrie Fisher. And we can't really. Yeah, I know. Happy birthday to the ghost of Carrie Fisher. You are amazing. You'll always be in our hearts.
Yeah.
And we'd tell you that we love you, but you know. So anyway, moving on.
That's weird.
No, Carrie Fisher was great. She was an icon, and always made me want to wear the bun. The
cinnamon buns.
Yeah, the cinnamon buns. I really want to wear those, but I will never get the hair to do that.
Well, you know what? Maybe if we ever do a Star Wars and my hair gets long enough, I'll do the buttons.
I hold you to that.
No promises. I said maybe when I said it for the record.
Okay, oh, sure. Okay. You're maybe
can
going.
Can we pull my PowerPoint presentation up onto the screen?
Oh, you pull that up
into questions right off the bat here.
All
Before we even get started, look at that Velocipastor, Man of the Claw.
Man of the Claw.
God, it's so good. I wish even I didn't put this picture up here. Like, this picture gives away too much. I
didn't know there were ninjas in this movie.
Yeah, so that's something I didn't want you to know going into this.
Wow.
Not that the questions are going to be hindered by it, but like now you know that there are ninjas in the movie.
So this is
a just we're going to suspend everything for right now.
I have so many questions.
You're going to have
so many questions.
So many more. So movie's called Velocipastor, Man of the Claw,
okay.
And the good thing about watching a Blu-ray is that you get to see trailers for other films that this company puts out.
Okay.
And the creators of Velocipastor are Wild Eye Releasing, and they created many other gems. Which of these is not a Wild Eye Releasing film? Is it The Terminator, Ouija Shark, Clownado, or Skrull?
Oh man, I have to break this down. Okay,
It's good.
Okay, the Terminator. So an alligator,
a bionic Terminator, a bionic alligator. Yeah,
right. Sent from the future to kill John Connor. That sounds awesome.
Well, it's
maybe not John Connor. Okay,
it's different circumstances, but you get it.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Ouija shark. So, like, is the Ouija board shaped as the shark, or
so they speak they speak to a shark through a Ouija board, and the shark comes back and lives in their pool.
That is awesome. Okay, Clownado.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope that's not real. I really hope that's not real.
I mean, I would explain it to you, but it's exactly what it sounds like.
And Skrull
is like this guy makes drawings, and then what he draws comes to life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, like, I thought the Terminator would be like way out there, and then you explained
they're all
Ouija
way
shark
out there.
and then you explained Ouija shark, and I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then we got to Clownado, and I'm not saying that it can't happen.
That Clownado can't happen.
But oh man, that is the scariest thing I could ever think of. And I hope that's not real. I'm going to go with C, Clownado.
Final answer?
Final answer.
You are incorrect.
Oh no, that's a real movie. Oh.
The one that is not real is the Terminator. Mallory actually came up with that answer, which I thought was
that's a good
solid. One. And Skrull actually was the last film before Star Wars that Daisy Ryder was in. True fact. The one who plays Rey.
Really?
Yeah, she
Daisy
was
Ridley.
in Skrull. Daisy Ridley, whatever. I don't know her name. She was in a
That's why you have
Wild
me.
Eye Releasings movie.
That's what I'm here for.
Let's be honest. Her bar was pretty low going into that.
A little bit. That's right.
Yeah, but that's where we're at for the questions for right now.
Yeah. Wow.
Pull it off the screen.
Pull it off.
We can hop into the plot of this movie. We start our film. Oh, you want to go ahead and give the disclaimer real quick.
Oh. Boo, boo, boo. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. This movie is about to get spoiled. All over it. Every single part. Up and down. Left to right. Everything about this movie is going to be spoiled for your entertainment. So if you are planning on watching this movie and wanting to go in fresh, turn this off now.
I highly recommend. I'm not gonna. Okay, so like there's so many jokes throughout this movie that I'm not even gonna get to touch. I'm not even gonna touch on like. Here's how ridiculous this movie is that I'm not even gonna touch on the jokes in this movie, and it's still gonna be absolutely bonkers. Like, just it's so ridiculous. Sorry, I'm looking up something real quick.
How does someone find themselves in this type of work environment? Like how can someone go into the movie industry and like end up being like, hey, we're going to make a movie about a pastor that turns into a velociraptor?
I mean, I'm just gonna hop into it, and we're gonna
let's go into it, because I just don't understand how, like, you're getting paid money to make a movie like this. And
I would like to start that this movie is an independent, low budget film.
Oh, is it?
Yep. So
Universal didn't pick this up?
No. When I saw Velocipastor, I almost thought it would be made by like the Sci-Fi Channel because they made Sharknado.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? They got a couple stinkers. Maybe they gave into this, but no, it was an independent movie. This is way better than anything on Sci-Fi.
Really?
So we start off with our main character. His name is Doug Jones. He's a
Doug
pastor.
Jones.
He's a pastor at a Catholic church, and we see him giving a sermon.
Okay.
And he's just saying some regular service-y type things, and then he gets done, and he goes outside to the front stoop of the church, and he sees his parents across the street by their car, and he waves at them, and he goes, "Hi, Mom and Dad," and then their car explodes.
What?
Just you hear it off screen, and because it's a low budget film,
you don't see it explode.
So it's a low budget film. So instead of lighting a car on fire, they just have the sidewalk, and it says on the screen VFX insert exploding car, instead of actually having anything there. It's just like a sidewalk, and he's just crying at the sidewalk. What? And what? Then yeah. So he gets sad. He goes back into the church, and then there's the other one of the other main characters named Father Stewart.
Father Stewart, okay.
And he's another father at the
Doug
church.
Jones, Father Stewart.
And he's telling him, he's like, "Man, your parents died, Doug. It's what parents do. They die on you." And Doug just asks, he's like, "Why, God? Why would God?" That's his question, is why would God? And he starts to question his faith, and Dr. Stewart tells him, he's like, "You know what? You can't question your faith. You need to go somewhere where you think the Lord will not follow you. So when you get there and you find the Lord, you know that he's there with you." So Doug goes to China, and he's in China, and China is a loose term. Doug is in a forest, and they put the word China on the screen. And he's just kind of like,
they know that China is like the largest landmass country in the world, and so saying China means like one of a fourth of the world. Like it could be anywhere in China.
China has forests.
China has everything because it's half of the world.
Yeah. So he's just like walking through the forest, and it says that it's China, and you see this woman running in like a karate gi, and she and there's this big ninja up on the top of a hill, and he shoots her with an arrow, and she falls down this hill, rolls all the way to the bottom, and he runs over. He's like, "Are you okay?" And she hands him this like dinosaur tooth, and she tells him to destroy it. I'd like to anytime a ninja is speaking, for the most part, it is in Japanese, and we just don't acknowledge the fact that they're speaking Japanese and everybody can just understand it.
In China, they're speaking Japanese.
Well, okay, they're speaking Chinese. Sorry, might be.
Okay,
they're speaking Chinese throughout this whole thing,
gotcha.
And like they're speaking Chinese, he's speaking English, and the dialogue just continues, like with like subtitles for the Chinese.
That's awesome.
And it's pretty funny.
So they all understand each other.
Yeah, it's just like it just happens.
But they speak in different languages. Awesome. Okay, cool.
So she whispers to him. She goes, "Destroy it," and she puts her hands on his face, on Doug's face, and she goes, "Dragon warrior." And then at this point, Doug is looking at the tooth in his hand, and the ninja that shot her with the arrow pops up on the back of the hill. Doug falls backwards and cuts his hand with the dinosaur tooth in his hand.
Oh no!
Rolls down this hill. And
what's going to happen to him?
And we wake up, and it was a dream sequence.
Oh.
And Father Stewart's like, "Did you have the dream again?" Doug said, "Yes, again and again."
Hold on. Is he back in the United States?
He's back at his church at this point. Yeah. He lives at the church. Yeah, we're going to jump around a little bit.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
And he I can't say quite what Father Stewart says because it's not very PC. But it's
now I'm really interested.
It's like offensively funny.
Okay.
And he asked him about his trick, and he's like, "Well, surely these dreams are just a side effect of your trip. You seem sick." You see Doug sweating, and he's like, "I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry." And he just gets up out of his bed and he runs out the front door. Now at this point, we see him running down the street, and there's a homeless man who asks him for some money. And he's like, "I don't have any money." And he just runs off. But coming the opposite way is a young lady named Carol, who is our female protagonist.
Oh.
And she gives some change to the homeless man. He appreciates it. That's really nice and she continues to walk down the street to sorry. She walks down the street and she sees her pimp, who once she walks up and asks where she wants her to work, immediately smacks her in the face.
Nice.
And if you will pan over to my questions,
whoa.
If you pan over to my questions,
no, let's go to the question.
We will find out the name of this young man. What is the name of Carol's pimp? Is it Donnie Ding Dong, Mikey Narwhal, Jimmy Goldfish, or Frankie Mermaid?
These are awesome, all 4 of them. Man, if I had a pimp, what would his name be? What would
your pimp name?
What would if I was a pimp, my name would be I'm going to go with, mainly because it's so out there. Mikey Narwhal.
Mikey Narwhal. Final answer?
Narwhal. I'm going to go with Mikey Narwhal. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope you find your parents.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is D. Frankie Mermaid.
Frankie Mermaid. That was the last one I was going, because I mean,
Frankie Mermaid. That's
it would have been Frankie Merman.
Well, that's Frankie his name. Merman, his name is Frankie Mermaid because he's swimming in bitches.
Oh.
Yep. That's why his name's Frankie Mermaid. But
that's why it comes in the name. Yeah.
He tells young Carol, he says, "You're going to work at the park tonight because the park is where the money's at, and you're where the money's at." And then he starts to laugh.
I mean, at least that's a compliment.
No, he's a bad dude. We don't like Frankie.
Oh, we don't like him. We don't like him at all.
He's a real bad
Frankie
dude.
Mermaid.
So we flash back to Doug at this point after this interaction with Carol.
No, so Doug, like the mermaid is it like top half human, bottom half fish, or top half fish, bottom half human?
I mean, he's a human being. That's just.
But he's a mermaid. So I mean, like
Frankie Mermaid. I imagine. I don't know.
What if we have it all wrong? What if like the Little Mermaid in real life is like top half fish, bottom half human, and then it's all messed up?
Well, if that's the case, I don't think they would get the reputation that they got.
That's fair. Okay, keep going. My bad.
You know, see the top half of fish sticking out of the water. Like, trust me, the bottom half's dope.
It's right here. They're waddling, treading water,
just like following the legs, trying to hold itself up because the center of gravity is too high. That's hilarious. Right. So we flash back to Doug, and it's nighttime at this point, and Doug is in the forest at the park, and he's holding his chest, and we see him. He's like grunting and screaming, and he closes his eyes and he opens them back up. He's got like those dinosaur eyes, like the real sharp.
Frankie Mermaid?
No, Doug Jones.
Doug.
Our protagonist. So he cut his hand on the dinosaur tooth, and now he's becoming a dinosaur at this point. No, we're back in America. Remember?
Right, but he cut the tooth. He cut his hand on the tooth in China.
Yes. Okay. But we're back in America at this point. It's nighttime in the park.
Gotcha.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Do you require clarification?
No, you're okay. I got it. Just
so we see him kind of like frantic, and his eyes turn into dinosaur eyes. And then we pan across the park, and we see Carol walking through the park, trying to do what she does, make a little bit of money.
Hold on, dinosaur eyes like that?
No, dinosaur eyes like if you pull up my presentation and you look at the dinosaur. That's what I'm talking about. Like real sharp, real. Oh well, that eye is covering the eye, like this. Like, can you see my mouse on here? Can you see my mouse?
No, I do not see your mouse. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Some of them bad boys.
That makes sense.
Ooh! Oh, don't look.
Oh.
Okay. Anyways.
But yeah. I forgot to put in our name tags in here.
Oh, it's all right. Now they're in there.
Yeah. They're in there. Go ahead.
So Carol's walking through the park, and this thug hops out of the shadows and's got a gun, puts it to her head, and he goes, "Give me your money. Give me everything you got." And she's like, I don't have any money. I don't have any. And then we just see flashes of like dinosaur arms and dinosaur teeth. And then he eats. Well, he doesn't eat. He kind of tears apart the thug. Doug tears apart the thumb. He's transformed into a. It says raptor. It looks like a really short T-Rex. Like there's a slenderness that comes with raptors that I feel like we're not getting here. But you know what? No. It's all right. It looks well, we're only seeing like an arm, and we're not seeing all of it. But then you see the silhouette, and there's like blood dripping from his teeth, and Carol falls to the ground. She's scared, and the screen goes black, and then it's Doug waking up again, but he's not where he's woken up before, and he's
back in China,
and he's naked. And then all of a sudden, we see Carol enter the room, and she's got a cup of coffee, and she's blowing it on and all. Essentially, she's like. And she's like, thanks for last night. And he's like, you know, this can only be a one-time thing. I can't be doing this again. She goes, I understand. And he's like, was it bad? And she goes, I mean, it was weird. And he's like, well, it was my first time. She goes, honestly, it all happened so quickly. I think I might have peed myself. He said, wait. We're not on the same page here. And she's like, you turned into a dinosaur. And he's like, no, I don't even believe in dinosaurs. Which is a very church thing.
That is a pretty funny. That's a pretty
that makes me laugh pretty hard when he says it.
Pretty good.
He says, I don't believe you. That didn't happen. And she says, it did. I can take you to the body and prove that it exists. He goes, well, do you have anything I could wear? And then we cut to them back at the park to find the body, and Doug is now wearing an orange miniskirt.
Yes.
Yeah, real good. She shows him the body. He freaks out.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm telling you guys, go watch this movie. I'm not doing any of the jokes justice. This is just plot points. This thing is riddled. I'm gonna get some flack for saying this. I would say this movie is like the most quotable movie that I've seen since like Anchorman. Like, wow. Yeah. If you watch this movie, I guarantee you'll just be saying quotes from it nonstop. So she shows him the body. He's freaking out. She says, well, I'm a hooker and I didn't want to call the police because I don't want to get in trouble.
Understandable. Yeah.
And then he freaks out more about the fact that she's a hooker than the fact that he killed somebody because he's a dinosaur and he's a priest. Like we're not just.
Hold on. Did she get it on with the dinosaur form of him?
No.
Like, did they get it? No.
No. I'm assuming he hulked out of his clothes when he became the Velocipastor.
Right, but okay.
So no.
I'm just wondering. Like, she seems really into the dinosaur thing. Like, she seems really cool about him being a dinosaur.
Well,
for being the only person in the world that knows that he can become a dinosaur.
Well,
and just learning about it. Like,
I mean, she's freaked out about it, but like, she's like, no, listen, like, you have this power, and killing a thug is one of the most godly things that you could do, and we should take your abilities and use them to get rid the world of bad people. We should use your powers to basically to fight crime. But we're only going to fight bad people, and we're only going to kill bad people. That way we can
that's
make the world a better place. He's like, I can't do this. He's like, I'm late for confessional. And then you just see him running off in this orange mini skirt. And then you see him running up to the church wearing his regular priest clothes. I don't know what happened there.
I mean,
he runs in the front door and he sprints to his confessional, and he's sitting in there and he's breathing hard, and he's like, my child, tell me all your sins or whatever. I don't know how that goes. And can we guess who the person is in the confessional? There's like 3 people we've talked about so far. I'm gonna let you guess.
I mean, it has to be Father. What's his name? Rick.
It is
Father
indeed
Time.
Frankie Mermaid.
Frankie Mermaid.
Yeah, Frankie Mermaid's in the confessional. What? He's like, well, tell me of your sins.
Part-time
and he's like, well,
pimp, part-time father. Like,
No, well, he's like, oh man, well, it's been a really long time since I've been here, probably about 2 years. You should probably put your seatbelt on, strap in. We're gonna be here for a minute. And he's like, man, I stole candy from a baby. Then I threw the baby off a bridge so he couldn't snitch. You know how it goes. He's like, I sell drugs. I'm a pimp. I have so many prostitutes. I kill people all the time for fun and for business. And he goes, you murdered people. Who did Sorry, hang on. I gotta make sure I'm not gonna step over one of my questions real quick. No, okay, we're good. Don't pull that screen up yet. Nope. I'll let you know. He's like, oh yeah, I kill people all the time. He's like, I mean, I do it for work. And he's like, in fact, I just killed an old couple outside of this very church a couple weeks ago. Which, as we found out in the very beginning of this movie, are Doug's parents.
Oh, Frankie Mermaid.
You see Doug start to twitch. He's getting a little angry, and he's like,
Velociraptor.
It's like, why did you do it? Oh, and then you see his hand turn into this Velociraptor hand, which I just want to say is like a Party City Raptor hand.
Yeah.
That like stops right here, like halfway down the forearm, not even looking like he's transformed. It's like over his priestly robe, like tucked into it. It's pretty great. But he reaches through and he's talking. He's like, why did you kill my parents? He's like, I can't. I'm so sorry, man. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't know. It's just for work. He's like, why should I keep you? And he's like, oh, this goes way deeper than you know, man. Way deeper than you know. He's like, if you're going to kill me, you should just kill me. So he goes, okay. And just slits his throat with his raptor hand.
That's awfully awesome.
Then Doug Jones is freaked out, man. Doug Jones, he goes back to Carol's place. He's like, man, we got to do this. I feel the Lord is willing me to do this. He's like, we can rid this world of bad people. We just need to make a plan and set of rules to work with. Because I still want to be a priest. I still want to, I want to continue practicing in the church. And she's like, yes, absolutely. And she's so relieved. And then he goes, yeah, I feel real better with knowing that a man like Frankie Mermaid isn't out there on the streets. And she goes, wait, what? You killed the Frankie Mermaid? And then she hugs him and she's like so relieved that she doesn't have to do hooking.
To hook?
Prostituting?
To have hooked.
No, what's the active? Is it whoring?
To heek?
Heeking? That's it. That's gotta be it.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
So she said she's so relieved she doesn't have to heek anymore.
You don't see anyone hinking this conversation right now.
And then right as they're about to, you can see them looking into each other's eyes after this moment, and there's this tension. You feel the room kind of fill up, and then they high five each other. And then there's like a montage. They
high five each other.
Yeah. And then there's like a montage of Doug working out a whole lot. I don't know why, but he is, and he's giving sermons and he's praying and he's killing people and he's spending time with Carol. And it's just like a 3-minute little montage of all these different things going on. We can see throughout the montage that Doug is growing quite fond of Carol. He's starting to develop some feelings for her.
That's so sweet.
But we're going to cut away from this storyline right now and flash to a group of ninjas standing in front of a tent.
Oh.
Yes.
In China?
And yeah, I don't know if I think it says China. It may be China. I don't remember.
All right.
At the evil layer, just know it's the bad guy
China.
place. But you see the leader asking why the money stopped flowing, and the other ninja says, "Well, I've heard rumors of a dragon warrior," and he says, "We will have a new shipment of cocaine coming in tomorrow, and we will need to take care of this dragon warrior to become unstoppable." And then they do like an evil laugh, but it's for like a really long time. Like I'm talking super long time. I have my questions out of order. But if you scroll back to the screen, two ninja crime lords laugh for an extended period of time. How long do they laugh for? Is it 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, or 40 seconds.
Okay.
Would you like me to put a timer up on the screen for you so you can experience how long 40 seconds is, or 30 seconds, or 20 seconds, or 10 seconds?
I think I got it because I have a relatively
we got the little live
understandable
timer
term of time.
Yeah, I've been alive for a while.
Yeah, I've experienced 10 seconds before.
Yeah.
In 20 seconds. I don't know what that is, but
Socons. It's a last minute slideshow is what it is.
Sorry, I saw it and I was like, I have to poke at that. Man, what?
E isn't even close to O on there. How did I type Socons? Like they're not even like adjacent.
Maybe. I mean, I understood it, so it's like you speaking Chinese and I just reading it in English, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Socon is actually Chinese for a second.
I highly doubt that, but okay. You know what? I'm gonna go with 40. Like, no, I think. Okay, I'm gonna analyze you more so than the movie on this one. I think that you would go just above where it is. Like 30 seconds is ridiculous, and if you like counted out 30 seconds, you'd be like, how can anyone just sit there and laugh that long?
Yeah.
And I think that you would try to push it just a little bit more, but not enough. So I'm going to go with C, 30 seconds.
Okay. Final answer.
Final answer.
The answer is D, 40 seconds. It's a real long time.
Ridiculous.
This is question 3. I'm so sorry I messed that up.
That's all right.
I feel terrible here.
I'll forgive you.
We're actually going to cut pretty close. We're going to cut right back. So just leave that up on the screen.
Okay, cool.
So after this scene of them just laughing for an extended period of time, for 40 seconds, we cut to Doug, and he's studying for his new profession is crime fighting priest, dinosaur, human person.
Okay. Have we seen the full dinosaur yet?
No, we don't see the full dinosaur until the very last fight scene.
Right, because that's the only time that they could put the budget in for that.
Right.
Okay, cool.
I may pull it up on a separate tab and show you at the very end. But we are we cut to Doug, and he's sitting next to, including the book that he's reading. There are 3 books next to him, kind of about his profession. But which one of these is not one of those books? Is it the Holy Bible, a book called Crime 2?
Crime 2. Okay.
How do dinosaurs say goodnight, or All About Dinosaurs?
Okay, so I've personally read How Do Dinosaurs Say Goodnight.
Yeah.
Very good reading.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if it wasn't what he
10
was
out of 10
reading into. 10 out of 10, absolutely.
I haven't read it.
The Holy Bible makes sense. Yeah, that would be on there because he is a pastor. Crime 2, has he had enough time to read Crime 1? Like, it's hard to read Crime 2 if you haven't read Crime 1 yet. And then All About Dinosaurs, like, you kind of need to know all about dinosaurs if you are one. All about them. But Crime 2, like, that's just, to me, that's the comedian thing to me. Like, that was the funniest part of the entire thing. Like, not How Did Dinosaurs Say Goodnight.
Just Crime 2.
Crime 2. Not 1, 2. So I'm going to go with D. All About Dinosaurs was not in.
Okay. Final answer.
In the questions. Final answer.
That is incorrect.
Oh my
The correct answer is How Do Dinosaurs Say Goodnight?
No.
Why
wouldn't he read that?
He didn't know how to say goodnight. That's included in All About Dinosaurs. Like,
true. That's
covered. This is a chapter in All About Dinosaurs.
Okay, I was completely kidding. Is there actually a book called How Did Dinosaurs Say Goodnight?
Yeah. I asked Mallory, I was like, Google child's books about dinosaurs.
If you completely made that up, and I was like, oh, I've obviously already read.
He was reading a couple of them to me, and I was like, I was like, which one would he need to learn a skill from? Like how to say goodnight. Like that's his new life. Like he needs to know how to do that now.
Night. Yeah.
But yeah, so he's reading these books, and Father Stewart enters the room, and he grabs the Holy Bible, which is like half the size of Crime 2, which is the book he's reading at the time. It looks a lot like, and he like puts it around the book as to like hide what he's reading, but it looks a lot like this. Like a really big book and a little book. It's so funny. And Father Stewart, he says, your absence has been an issue recently, ever since you've been hanging out with that Carol. He asks, he's like, have you forgotten your vow of chastity? And he's like, of course not. Of course I haven't. And he goes, Father Stewart, what if I'm different? Like really different. And then it just kind of zooms in on his face.
Oh. Ooh, can I guess? Can I guess this? Does Father Stewart thinks that he's talking about being gay? And that's how he's different?
I mean, he says there's plenty of fathers that are in the brotherhood that are like that. So that's his retort to that. It's implied.
Oh man.
He says, and then you see him kind of like explain off screen like what he's able to do now. Mm. And Father Stewart's like, this is ridiculous. This calls for an exorcism. There's something inside of you. And
yeah, it's a dinosaur.
Doug confesses, and he says he feels like he's on a mission from God. Like that's why he has these abilities.
Okay.
And Father Stewart's like, absolutely not. We can't do that. And then he locks him in the office.
Absolutely.
Father Stewart locks Doug in the office.
Right. That'll keep out the That'll keep in the Velociraptor. Makes sense.
And you see, I wanted to make this one of the questions, but I don't want to tell you about it instead.
Okay, please.
So Doug looks down as his rosary in his hand. He starts to think. He goes, "What would my parents think?" And you flash to him and his mom and dad at the dinner table. Mm-hmm. And sitting on the dinner table are like 4 plates, and then in the center of like the serving dish is just like 8 slices of bread, just on the middle of the table. Like they're just sitting there eating white bread.
Makes sense. Yeah,
it's.
You've never had white bread night?
White bread night?
Yeah, white bread night.
Like breakfast for dinner, except it's just white bread for dinner.
Right. No butter, no like anything, just white bread.
And then you see every
Thursday night here.
You see them like eating and smiling, and then we flash like kind of a flashback type thing to
right.
They're in a car with his dad and his mom, and he says, we're really proud of you, son. You're our only son. And we love you. This is a big choice, and once you're done, we'll come pick you up from your first day of priest college. And then we'll just always to follow your heart. And then at this point, the flashback ends. We cut to Carol standing outside, waiting for Doug to be done for the evening, but he never comes because he's been locked up in the office. Then there's some cutscenes that happen here that make no sense.
Okay,
but you'll you'll see one in a minute. And then we cut to Father Stewart taking Doug to like this basement. It's never really disclosed where it is, but it's essentially it's the home of an ex-priest who no longer practices, but the gist of it is that it's going to take too long to get approval for an exorcism from the church, so they're just going to take matters into their own hands and fight evil with evil, is what he says. And we see this guy come out from behind these curtains, and he looks like Chris Angel-y, David Blaine, like he's supposed to look, I don't know, but he looks like, my brain goes, you're a magician, right? But he's just an ex-priest. His name is Father Jones, which I didn't know going into this, that Doug's last name was Jones. So this is kind of a weird thing. Not related, but they just ran out of names, I suppose. There's like 5 characters in this whole movie, so it's pretty tough to keep track of all of them. But Doug's explained to Father Jones like kind of how his abilities are. At this point, we cut over to Father Stewart, and me and Mallory were like, I don't know how to put our finger on it. And then we kind of came to the consensus that whoever is playing Father Stewart seems like he's never acted in anything ever. Like,
nice.
He seems like they were short a person and somebody asked their uncle to come in and play this person. Like his acting, or he's a like phenomenal actor and he can play this awkward role really well, or he's just a bad actor, which is probably more likely.
Right.
But you see him there, kind of like glazed over eyes, having like a war flashback. I don't know why. This scene has nothing to do with anything else in the movie.
Nothing.
I might just cut it, honestly. No, you know what? We did the whole movie up to this point. It's only an hour. We don't got that much more left. Okay, so we cut to him.
It's already almost over. Like we don't even know about the ninjas.
He's in the flashback, and we're talking. He's just kind of with his friend in, I'm assuming Vietnam. And they're talking about all the lives that got lost in the war, and they're talking about their girlfriends back home. And Stuart shows him a picture. Father Stuart shows him a picture of his girlfriend Adeline, and his friend Ali says, when you get back home, I want you to have 5 kids. No, wait, 11 kids. I want you to spend 15 minutes with each one of them. And I want you to name one of them after me. You call him Ali Stewart. And when you look at him, I want you to smile at him, just like I'm smiling at you right now. And then he smiles at him. You're just going to let him know. It's my old war buddy, Ali, the guy who never took a hit in the battlefield. And then he gets shot down right there. Which is just pretty funny. The timing is a lot better when you're watching it. And then you see Father Jones holding his body. He's like, no, he's crying. Then we cut to him writing a letter to Ollie's parents. Don't ask questions. There are no answers. And he's writing this letter, and all of a sudden he hears Stuart in the distance, and it's his girlfriend Adeline. And she's running through this field. She's like, Stuart! And she gets right up to him and steps on the landmine and explodes. And he's covered in blood. And at this point, we cut back to the basement. And that's how the scene happens. There are no transitions. There's no nothing. This will relate to nothing else in the movie. It's just the way that it is. Please hold all questions till the end. I'll be happy to answer them then. Long and short of it is that they get into a seance. They start to perform this exorcism on Doug. Right. Doug's like starts to twitch a little bit. And he's bound at the wrist, like held down. And he's like kind of jostling around and dinosauring up. Right. And then you see him get dinosaur hands. He scratches Father Stewart, knocks him down to the ground. Father Stewart takes a bad hit, and then you see Doug run out of the building. This scene in general wasn't really necessary, but it was only an hour and 10 minutes, so I'm imagining they just needed a little bit of padding. Right. Okay, so and then we see Doug back in the forest again in the park. And at this point, the scene that we saw him in the forest park where he rescued Carol in the very beginning, right? It is the exact same footage used in this portion, like recycled. It is so funny, and it's like aware that it's recycled. Like just like put that scene back in there. But while he's transforming into the Velocipastor, we see this group of ninjas up on a hill talking about like their plan to attack. Oh. And then they attack him. He just knocks them all out. He untransforms at some point in time, but we cut to Carol's house where we now. Yeah. We we see him like hiding under a pile of newspapers at Carol's house on the floor. I don't know. That's like the weirdest thing. Like he just like he's in the corner and he just stands up and he goes, Carol, like out of nowhere. It's weird. But he's like, I don't know if I can hold these powers in. I'm afraid that I'm gonna hurt you. And she's like, you can never hurt me. I know you. And then they proceed to make sweet, sweet love. Sweet love. over like a 2-minute compilation of all of the scenes from them in the movie, just kind of like playing over the top of it. It's actually kind of artsy. I kind of like this. Is probably like the best edited scene in the movie, I think. But they fall asleep canoodling, and then in the morning you wake up and you see them both asleep in the bed, canoodling still. Mm-hmm. And ninjas jump in through the windows.
Yes.
And out of nowhere, they spring out of bed and they knock them all out. And then they start making out immediately afterwards. And while they're making out, there's a ninja on the floor who says, "You don't know who you're dealing with. Remember your faith, Father Jones." And then he dies on the floor. And then at this point, they're both confused. And we cut to Father Stewart wearing an eye patch, laying in a tent. Possibly in China, I don't know. In the evil lair, sitting next to our main crime drug lord guy.
The laughing guy?
Yeah, the laughing guy.
Okay. Oh, so since he attacked Father Stewart with his claw, and he got injured from the claw but didn't die from it, does that make him a Velociraptor too? Are we gonna have a Velocifight?
No. That'd be really cool for the sequel. Velocipastors.
Velocipastor 2. I can't think of a good tagline.
Ain't no law with the claw.
Ain't no law with the claw.
That's a White Claw slogan.
10 claw manments.
10 claw manments. Yeah, exactly. So he's got an eye patch. He's on a bed.
Nice.
He gets up. The leader pours him some tea. He says, "My name is Father Wei Chang."
Wei Chang.
He's like, "This is my my practice out here in wherever he's at." He's like, "I'm raising warriors to defeat infidels," and there's just like a group of ninjas like training in the background.
Sounds about right.
And he says, we have a plan to get the whole city hooked on cocaine. He's like, "We have this cocaine here that's 4 times more addictive than any other cocaine. And we're going to use this to get everybody in the city addicted. And then we're going to cut off the supply. In that point, they're all going to have to go to help groups at churches. And then we're going to turn them to the Lord."
Nice. I like that. The Nestle approach.
The Nestle approach. What's the Nestle approach? I'll pause. I'll pause.
Okay, cool. So Nestle went to Africa and gave all the like mothers in Africa in these third world countries and these really barren times milk formula. So they could for free just gave them milk formula. Got it to the point to where they were no longer giving milk like naturally, and then cut off the supply, multiplied the price by like 3 times, and tried to sell it back to them. And it was a real jerk move from Nestle.
It's a real dick move.
Yeah, it was a real dick move. I hate like that's
so
the first
rude.
thing that I know.
So yes, the Nestle approach then.
The Nestle approach. Okay, cool.
And then Father Stewart was like, "You know what? I can't. I'm not going to condone this. This is ridiculous. I'm going to report you to the Vatican." And he's like, "No, you're not." And then he stabs him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, calls that pretty quick. And then we flashed back to Doug getting ready for battle. He's putting on his leather jacket, and that's what I mean by getting ready for battle. Right. He puts a leather jacket on because that's how it goes.
He's like, "Hold on, let me get ready." Kind of like the Rambo 3 like montage of him getting ready for battle. Like he puts on like 700 different things, arms himself up. This guy's like, "All right, let me get to the montage." All right, song over.
Yep. Yeah, it was
cool.
Just like, there you go.
Awesome.
All right, this next part's going to go pretty quick, I have a feeling.
Okay, good.
I'm just going to read what I have. I'm going to try and do it in one breath. See this? We got this.
Oh, man.
All this going on here.
Ooh, still got a lot. Wow, there's a lot more.
All right.
Okay. Almost done.
So at this point, Him and Carol go to the secret hideout to fight a horde of ninjas, the leader of which we find out is his brother Sam, even though his dad said it was his only son, and he's been neglected in his hatred for Doug. And they both are doing it for the Lord and answered the call of God. Doug and Sam fight using nunchucks, and Sam throws a sword into the ground, says, I'm not going to stain your blood. Something about the Lord, something. At this point, they're fighting. Sam gets knocked down. I don't know how this works, but Doug puts his hand out and uses the force to pull the sword to his hand.
Oh, he has that now.
Apparently.
He has.
Apparently, Velociraptors are part Jedi, or the power of...
They build that skill. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, their little brains didn't work, but since he's a human.
Right. Yeah, that was going to be in Jurassic Park 4, but they never came out with it.
Return of the Jurassic part. Anyways, he's killing his brother Sam. In the background, you see Carol just like whooping ass, killing like 5 different people. Like she's just getting it, killing people, and then when she kills all those people, somebody emerges from a tent behind a ninja, and he's got a sword, walks up to Carol, just cuts her right across the chest. Blood shooting out of her. She's bleeding from the mouth. And at this point, Doug's like, Carol, and he comes over and he picks her up, and they have this tender moment. And you can tell it's a tender moment because the ninjas that are remaining are standing there all hugging each other and crying because it's so sensitive. And they're really just like letting them have their own time.
That's so nice of them.
It was very nice of them.
So nice of them. He's like, time out.
Yeah, no, they're like, no, let them do this. They need this moment to heal.
Okay, time back in.
Time back in. So Doug looks at them and he's like, all right, it's over. And then he transforms into the Velocipastor, which is the first time we see it in its entirety. Oh. And I would have to liken the costume to a paper mache pinata.
No.
It's not made of paper. It's made of some sort of leather or something. But it looks... Here, hang on. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, we got to see this.
Costume. See if we can do this. Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can get this bad boy full screen here. I'm so sorry, y'all. I was not prepared for this. I should have been more prepared. Let me see if I can just share this tab as well.
Show us at the end. After you have one more question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you
at the end. At the end, we'll see it all.
Okay, cool. So he transforms into the Velocipastor, starts kicking ass and taking names.
Right.
And then at the very end, we have Father Wei Chang. And he emerges from the tent. And he shoots an arrow into the Velocipastor's knee, which for whatever reason makes him untransform. Turns back into...
Yeah. It was the knee, right?
No, it's just like right in the leg.
In the leg, not the knee? Okay. I mean, that's where everyone loses the transformation, is in the leg.
Right.
All the transformation.
That's where the power is held. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to take you out. He's like, do you have any last words? As he's standing over him.
Like on a date?
Like, he's got his arrows ready to go. He's like, do you have any last words? And if you'll pan to my question here.
Oh, here we go.
Father Wei Chang asks Doug if he has any last words. Doug replies with, I only have 6. What are those words?
4.
May Christ's power devour you, Father. B, I think my hands are immune. C, can everybody Father Wei Chang tonight? Or D, you're about to poop your pants.
You're about to poop your pants. I really hope it's C.
Yeah.
But man,
well, we have our first YouTube comment.
Ooh,
it was anti-venom. Apparently,
I don't think it was anti-venom.
Okay. I don't think it was anti-venom.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, I was all into this movie until that part happened, and then all of a sudden,
into anti-venom, and you're like,
I don't believe any of it.
This is bull.
I'm going to go with A. May Christ's power devour you, Father. Final answer.
You got the clean losing sweep, my man.
No way. It's one of those three.
It is. I think my hands are immune. And then you see him pull his hands out from under him, and then he slaps him across the face and kills him. It's pretty imaginative. Can I get points for Can Everybody Father Wei Chang tonight? I love that one. I thought that was on point.
That's good. That was really good.
I am so funny. Man. And then you see him grab Father Wei Chang by the point. And he rips his head off, and it's clearly like a hairstyling dummy mannequin head.
Right.
And then you see blood shooting out of it, and he's holding it.
Shot Toby.
Huh?
Like when Golden Face shot Toby in Red Level Midnight.
Yeah. So he's holding it up, and it's like the back of the head, and this guy's bald, and you're like, maybe they can get away with this. And it's spurting blood. And then you see him take his raptor hands and turn it around to show you that it's obviously a fake mannequin head. And they throw it on the ground.
That's awesome.
He's covered in blood, and the scene comes to an end. He's defeated the bad guy. And we see Doug waiting, sitting in like a waiting room of a hospital. And then he's
Carol's
like, how's Carol doing? And they're like, we did it. She's doing awesome. We brought her back. And then this is a budget issue, but it made me laugh so hard as you go in and she's sitting in like an exam room at like a general practitioner with like a blood pump cuff on, and she's got the paper apron on like over the top of her regular clothes. And like it's just like she's supposed to be in a hospital, and it's just so funny. And there's a whole scene that I'm not going to spoil for you. If you guys are going to watch this, you should totally watch this. You should totally watch this.
Okay.
She's fine. And then the very final scene, we have them standing around this old, really cool car. And she's like, what are you going to do next? And he's got like sunglasses on in his leather jacket, and he pulls a cigarette out. Like he's Danny Zuko from Grease.
Obviously.
He's like, I'm going to do what I do best. And then they start making out and the credits roll.
What is he gonna do? What does he do best?
He's gonna keep Velocipastoring.
Velocipastor.
He's gonna continue to pastor. He's gonna save lives through the Lord and through being a dinosaur. Let me see if I can pull this. If we can pull. Boop, 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 boop. Oh yeah, I can't make it big. I don't think. Maybe you can zoom in on this. You go. Whoop. Whoop.
No.
Yeah. So this is what our costume looks like right here.
What?
Yeah. This is our Velocipastor costume. It's pretty fantastic. This movie, honestly, like
that is awesome.
When you take into account that this movie is an independent film, and you just like see what they did with what they had, this movie is so good. It is so funny throughout the entirety of the movie. It's just beautifully awkward throughout the whole thing. I don't know if I could. Here, I'll put my old slideshow back up. Hang on, we can make this look more professional. There you go. We'll present this right there. Velocipastor. Oh, what happened? Where'd everybody go? Well, it looks like it's just me, everybody. Don't know what to do with this.
My bad. I'm back.
No, you're all good. I was like, it looks like it's just me. Don't know what to do with this.
My finger slipped in a way, and it took me backwards.
Yeah, go ahead and pop that presentation up on there. We'll just have that kind of hanging out next to us while we do this.
Yeah.
It's a blast, man. This movie's a blast. It's hilarious. It's got like a 51 on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
Right.
I think it deserves it. I think it's judged unfairly. Mm-hmm. I think you need to know going into it what it is. I almost like going into it knowing what it is, maybe even ruins it for you, just to find out how goofy and campy of a movie this is. I think like the whole it's good. I freaking love this movie.
Wow.
Like I said, I purchased this physical copy of it because I like it. Because I want if it is streaming on Netflix, I'll probably feel like an idiot. But I want to continue to be able to watch this. I want to watch this at least yearly in October.
Yearly.
It's so good. I've seen it twice. I watched it a second time to take notes on it because the first time I watched it, I wanted to just watch it. I was like, I know this movie's supposed to be bad, so I just wanted to be able to watch it front to back.
All right. Well,
awesome.
Well done.
Thank you.
Great job. That was awesome. I didn't get a single question right.
Not one.
I think that's the first one that I've never got.
That's how I feel.
I usually get them all. I usually get at least one right.
Yeah, you usually get
this
at least
one.
one.
I didn't get a single one.
No.
But now we bring it to the Wheel of Horror.
Yeah, so we can get to see what we're doing. What you're watching next week, unless I've seen it, and then in which case I guess I'll do it again.
Right. Velocipastor was removed, and we replaced it with Midsummer.
Yeah, great film.
Midsummer.
Hope that you don't get that.
I've heard many things about this movie. But here we go. Midsummer, and let's go ahead and spin that wheel.
Damn. Give it a spin, my man.
And here we go. Oh.
No, man.
Oh.
No. Dude, well, at least Daryl will be happy.
Oh, man. We're doing Hubie Halloween.
Oh, with Sandler.
The new Adam Sandler movie. I'll go ahead and bite the bullet. I'll watch this one.
I don't want to listen to you talk about that movie.
I don't want to talk about the movie.
There's nothing that's compelling. It's not Velocipastor. There's nothing compelling about the concept of it.
No, I'm glad that I haven't watched it yet. Mainly because I didn't want to, but now I have to. So here we go. Hubie Halloween.
Can I say that on the back of this DVD, it says Evil is about to get Tyrannosaurus wrecked?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
That is awesome.
God,
watch us next week, Hubie Halloween, a week from tonight.
Yeah.
6 days from now, next Tuesday at 7:00, we got Harry Potter midweek marathon.
Yes, sir.
With you, me, and Michelle.
We'll
be coming in for Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
And Michelle hit it right on the head. When she said, all these movies you guys are doing sound so bad that I kind of really want to watch them. That's our point. That's the whole point of this podcast, of us doing this every week, is we want to give a little bit of light to those bad movies and either expose them for what they are, which is terrible movies, or show them that there's a little bit of a gem inside that really nasty.
Yeah, Velocipastor is a winner. Who would have thunk it?
I would not have thunk it. That is not something that I would have thunk.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and then we got Hubie Halloween next week.
All right, I'm gonna see if I got this music. I'm gonna see if I got this music queued up. Can you Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
No. Hold on.
Beautiful.
There's a reason why. Hold on. Now I do.
Oh, you heard it for a second?
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
All right. Go ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Spoiled Rotten Movies. This is our October horror movie Wheel of Horror episode. We're going to be doing it next Wednesday night at 9:00 as well. We'll be doing Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets next Tuesday at 7:00. Yeah, y'all be safe out there. You can follow us on Instagram at Spoiled Rotten Movies. You can follow us on Twitter at Rotten_BOIS. Get our podcast on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your stuff at. Wherever you are, we will be there.
Yeah.
We love you so much. And Velocipastor forever.
This has been Spoiled Rotten.
We promise to do better next time. And we love you. Freeze frame.
Bye. Check on that microphone. Check on that microphone. Check on that microphone. Check on that microphone.